The Basic Architect. We're out here at the Riverside project. Probably wondering why I'm standing over at the bench here. You know, this is one of the couple benches that the guys are using out here. We're out at the Riverside project. We're putting up our cladding. In the cladding that we're using on the project, it's a boral product, which is a fly ash product, so it doesn't wick any moisture. It doesn't rot. Insects can't eat it. It's I would say bulletproof, but someone out there is going to tell me, well, nothing's bulletproof. So, but anyways, it's one of the better products for sure out there. It's Boral True Exterior. It's by Westlake Pros and Royal Building Products. It's under their umbrella of products. But anyways, we're using multiple widths. 1x3s, 1x4s, 5s, 6s, and 8s out on this project. We're using them in somewhat of a chaotic organization. But the important thing is, before we put it up, the guys have to paint the edges because it's a vertically open joint rain screen system, which means I can see the edges when I walk along the house. And because that joint is only a little bit over 3/16 of an inch, it means that we have to pre-finish these before the boards get installed. So that's what the guys are doing here. You can see they have all of their widths. They basically just stand the boards on end and roll a whole bunch of them at once, flip it over when they dry, roll that other side. So let's go around the other side here and we'll see some getting installed. See here, they're doing a beautiful job. Got the garage going on. But down here is basically where they're installing. You can see there we have a full wall. I'm just going to come over here and grab a piece of the furring that we're using underneath it here. But we have a beautiful wall here of it. You can see we have variable widths. The variable widths are not in any organized pattern, and they basically go the full height. They're all an open joint rain screen. So this joint is, you know, 3/16 of an inch strong. And the reason I say 3/16 of an inch strong, the husband wanted a 3/16, the wife wanted it a quarter, so we made it a little bit bigger than the 3/16. So we moved in favor of the wife's 1/4 inch without not quite getting there. 1/4 inch was a little too wide, I think. Over here you can see the prepped wall. And what we're using here is, it's a UV Batten Strip. It's by Benjamin Obdyke. The beauty of this Batten Strip is that it can get installed horizontally like it is here, but it can also get installed vertically here for any horizontally oriented lap siding. And it's really interesting, you know, when you come in here and you take a look at it, you can see that it's channeled down there. So if I put that on the wall vertically, basically everything runs down through those channels. But if I put it horizontally, it has this series of V-grooves there. Now, you might sit there and think, yeah, that V-groove, Steve, I'm really not impressed with it. It probably doesn't move anywhere near as much water as you think. We're going to run a test on it in a future video, and we'll get back to that. But I guarantee you, I have tested it before. I put siding on it. I've poured water down the back. The water gushes out the back. I was absolutely amazed at how well those small V-grooves work. The other thing to notice is, notice that the anchor hole is slotted, right? You can just use a simple roofing nail there and put it in, and this will give you the ability to move if you want it to. So, but it's about 3/8 of an inch. I believe this is, I don't know, probably on the order of about 1.5 inches. So it really doesn't take a whole lot of space from that wall, but it really provides some really good drainage. And remember, having that vertically oriented joint or open rain screen system, couple things. One, whenever you're talking about water management and wetting, what you really need to be talking about is, what is my rate of drying versus my rate of wetting, right? Things get wet. We're not going to stop that. I'm never going to stop Mother Nature from raining. I can put big overhangs on the house, but chances are some walls are still going to see some water. So the question is, how much water do they see? And then how much time and effort, right? It's not only about time, because some walls will dry faster than others. The more access I provide to drying, the better drying capabilities I get. Now, you're going to think like I did initially and say, well, with better rates of drying and better access, well, aren't you letting more water in? Yes, potentially, right? So here we have a fly ash board. It doesn't take on any water, so it's not really soaking anything up. Now, it doesn't mean that that's the only thing I could have used there. I would have been just as comfortable putting cedar boards on this system and putting them in this orientation in that joint, and would still have the same faith that it would last just as long. Now, we have that 3/16 open joint. Does it let some water in? It potentially lets some water in, but I'm here to tell you that if we came and we hosed this wall down, if I hosed it perpendicular to a joint, yeah, I'd probably get water in. But if I sprayed that wall, what is going to happen is any water that hits it is going to move to the edge. It's going to find that edge and it's going to ride that edge down. If you don't believe me, the next time it's raining out, go out to a building that has a series of edges, corner boards, brick reliefs, anything where there's an edge, and watch how the water gets managed on that building. If you live in the city, go out into the city when it rains. Look at some of those old masonry buildings that have all of these different reveals, and pay attention very specifically to the wetting patterns and how water migrates. Water's going to come here, it's going to find that edge, and it's going to run down that edge. If it did run in, then it's just going to find this batten strip on the inside, and it's going to fall to gravity, and it's going to drip out the bottom here and help irrigate my landscape. So either way, I'm getting rid of that water down and out. Now, the beauty of having this on the furring strip, and more importantly having the open joint, is I've elevated my rate of drying exponentially, right? If these were all tight tongue and groove, V-groove, and they were put here, then I'd basically have this diaphragm of cladding here with really no access to drying other than the mechanism of air going in through the bottom and coming out through the top. And as that air is moving through the RAINSCREEN system, it's taking that moisture content, because moisture moves from high to low. So the air going in there is going to have a low moisture content. The moisture content behind the cladding is going to try and equalize. It's going to jump on that airstream and get vented on the outside. But here, we've taken it a step further. We've allowed any of that moisture content behind to aggressively equalize almost immediately with the outside by having this open joint vertical RAINSCREEN. So anyways, that's a quick talk, probably a little bit more than just a quick talk about what we're doing out here. But anyways, burl siding, vertically oriented, open joint RAINSCREENs. My good friends at Benjamin Opdyke, yeah, we're using their UV Batten Strip. We're also using their UV paper here. And this wrap is actually designed for open joint RAINSCREEN systems. So it's basically allowed to see the sun and battle the UV. So that's why that's on there. We're looking good out here. Quick shout out to my good friends at Howell Custom Building Group. They are doing an absolutely beautiful job out here on the house. Kurt specifically, who's the guy in charge out here, just doing a phenomenal job. It's a privilege as an architect to work with those guys. So anyways, I'm Steve Basic, architect. This is the Riverside project, and that's some beautiful open joint RAINSCREEN cladding.